Reporting on computer. Okay, so we have it live on YouTube. However, it's not streaming right now. So we'll have to upload it later for viewing. For some reason, that system's not working. I've done everything on our end. We've done everything right. And it does show that it's live on YouTube and it is recording, but it's not streaming according to what I'm seeing over here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead. Since we do have a quorum, I'm going to turn it over to Paul. And when after you call it to order, Paul, I have a little
Yes.
something to read here.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order. It is 6 o'clock. So this is the regularly scheduled meeting of Mission Bay Park Committee for October 6, 2020. And now Mike has a few announcements to go.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is Mike Rodriguez. I'm the staff representative for the Mission Bay Park Committee. Until further notice, meetings of the Mission Bay Park Committee and the Mission Bay Park Improvement Fund Oversight Committee will be conducted pursuant provisions of California Executive Order 2920, which suspends certain requirements of the Ralph M. Brown Act. In the interest of public health and safety, committee members will participate in the meeting by teleconference. As such, and in accordance with executive order, no members of the public will attend the meeting, but instead view the meeting proceedings via the city's public meetings YouTube channel. In lieu of in-person attendance, members of the public may submit their comments via public comment web form. Members of the public wishing to address the board or the committee under public comment must submit web form prior to the meeting. Instructions were given for the web form process. Pursuant to open meeting laws, no discussion or action other than referral shall be taken by the committee and brought forward under non-public agenda. We're going to do a quick roll call and then we'll go ahead and start the meeting. So when I say your name, please say present, unmute yourself, say present, and we'll go from there. So Ron Anderson.
Present.
Giovanni Golaya. Giovanni? I thought I saw you here. Giovanni, go ahead and unmute and say present. I'll come back to him. Jeff Johnson?
Present.
Carrie Logan is absent. She did email me, she's excused. Judith Munoz.
Present.
David Potter, I see you joined us.
Present.
Paul Robinson.
Present.
Stephanie Smith.
Present.
Darlene Walter.
Present.
Okay, I'm going back to Giovanni. Are you present? Or you can type in comments if you're present, if you're in your chat. So we'll get you on board. So we do have a quorum, Mr. Chair, and you can go ahead and start the meeting, and I'll be taking minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. The first item is the approval of the minutes of September 1, 2020. Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval of the minutes, September 1.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Dave Potter.
David, and the second?
Jeff Johnson.
Gotcha, Jeff. All right.
Please call the roll.
I will call roll. Ron Anderson,
Present.
do you approve the minutes?
Approve, rather, sorry.
Giovanni? Do we see a chat from Giovanni, anybody?
No.
No. Jeff Johnson?
Approve.
Judith Munoz?
Approve.
David Potter?
Approve.
Paul Robinson?
Approve.
Stephanie Smith?
I'm going to abstain because I missed the first part of the meeting last time.
Gotcha. And Darlene? Darlene Walter? You approve?
Approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. So I got a 6-0 with 1 abstention, with Giovanni not present at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have no chairperson's report. Is Carrie Munson on for the District 2 report?
I do have a couple public, non-agenda public comments, Mr. Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. We should go to that first. Thank you.
Okay, this one's from Andrew Meyer with San Diego Audubon. There was a new process in the Rewild Mission Bay project. At their October 14th meeting, the Regional Water Quality Control Board will review a City of San Diego proposal to create a new alternative for ongoing De Anza planning in the northeast corner of Mission Bay. The city is proposing to spend $1.25 million on habitat improvements to the Kendall Frost technical studies for wetland restoration, and in a new alternative that commits to planning for 80 acres of new wetland and sea level rise by 2100. What the Rewild Mission Bay project has been pushing for the last year and a half. I'll be happy to answer any questions. This is coming from Andrew Meyer, who's obviously not present. I do have another public comment. This is from Ronald Miller. As a frequent user of Mission Bay Park, I'm extremely disappointed with the lack of maintenance. All of the park looks old and run down, but specifically certain sections. Let's start first with Hospitality Point and what used to be Mission Bay Park headquarters, now taken over by lifeguard service, and is in a state of disaster. It used to be a beautiful spot. The section that is supposed to be on its natural state is just plain ugly. Of course, the committee will do nothing but make excuses. Think out of the box, get things done, and restore the park. I have another 5 spots that are eyesores, if you'd like to hear. That's from Ronald Miller. And those are the 2 public comments I have.
Thank you. Okay, do we have Carrie Munson from City Council Office District 2?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. So our office has been very busy. I talked about last month the memorandum of understanding that our office negotiated between Expedia and Unite Here, which is a compromise for short-term rentals. And we're excited to say that that is now in with the city attorney. Sorry, my dogs are fighting or playing. It's going to the Planning Commission on the 8th, and then hopefully it'll go to City Council at the end of the month. It will reduce the total number of whole home rentals. It'll force a local contact to deal with issues 24/7. It will have consequences for bad actors, and it will require permits to pay for enforcement. So we're excited to have brought this compromise forward, and we look forward to it going to the Planning Commission and then to City Council. The second thing is Measure E on the ballot. So that's the redevelopment of Midway, the Midway area, and Councilmember Kate and Councilmember Campbell co-sponsored this together with the support of the community of Midway, who is in favor of the redevelopment for that area. Measure E would remove the 30-foot height limit in that area, only in that area. So any other areas that have a 30-foot height requirement would stay. That allows the developers more opportunities to build taller buildings and then have open space in the middle as opposed to just one big block. Third thing, I continue to also get a lot of complaints about Mission Bay. So continued crowds at Mission Bay, RVs on East Mission Bay Drive, and the comfort station at De Anza Cove that I guess has not been cleaned very well, and just trash being left by the vendors, the illegal vendors that are on the areas. So I understand from Captain Wall that that the police are going to start enforcing the RVs that are parked on East Mission Bay in violation of different municipal codes, and we're supposed to start that this week. The last thing is, since COVID-19, the parking enforcement has not been in place around the city. So starting October 1, they are now giving verbal warnings, and then starting on the 15th of October, they will start issuing parking tickets. So just be aware of that if you've been parking in parking spots and not paying the meter. And that's all I have. If anyone has questions for me.
Questions, anybody? Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, I'll mute so my dogs don't bother everybody.
The next one, do we have Lieutenant Rick Romero from the Fire Rescue Department?
Yes, good evening, I'm here.
Thank you.
Nothing new to report that's big other than just experiencing same size crowds, summertime crowds, summertime heat. And we're extremely busy on Mission Bay with array of calls, accidents, and definitely agreeing with the overcrowding of Mission Bay Park. It's the only thing that's open right now, so everyone's coming down to the park and enjoying it. Just been really, really busy this past summer and into this fall. It really hasn't slowed down at all, especially with the heat And so nothing new to report other than continued being busy out here. Are there any questions for me at all?
Any questions?
Yeah, Rick, this is Ron Anderson. I had a question. Have you noticed, are you guys seeing or cracked down on a lot of the illegal operators that are running Sea-Doo rentals, launching the crafts to the public and then moving their trailers, parking them in the neighborhoods, and that's how they're sort of circumventing the system on, you know, the illegal rentals?
Yes, we have seen an uptick in that kind of activity. We've had a couple of spots. Ski Beach is a hot spot. We've made contact, made some educational warnings to people. I know I've been in contact with real estate assets about the growing problem with rentals. There's a lot of websites out there where people are renting their own personal, they're not actual business, but they're renting their actual personal craft or vessel for a profit. That's definitely going on Mission Bay. It's just, we're just kind of overwhelmed with the sheer amount of people coming in and doing that, plus mixing in with all the rest of the population. So that has happened and is going on, and it's been growing all summer long. I think the reason why we've seen so much craft on the water and also an uptick in accidents. So yes, that is absolutely a factor right now. Anything else out there?
Any other questions? Lieutenant, thank you for you and your team and all you do for this magnificent bay. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Assistant Deputy Director Christina Chadwick, are you on? Christina, are you on?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, do you have a report?
I have nothing to provide at this time other than I will have some additional updates later on in the meeting as far as the Improvement Oversight Committee goes.
Okay, thank you. Mike, do you have a report?
Yes, how you doing? Mike Rodriguez here. I just want to welcome, it looks like Giovanni has joined us. Is that true, Giovanni? Are you present? Looks like you were on a different call line. I just want to remind everybody that we are streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Giovanni. Okay, I've got you present. So we are streaming on YouTube Live, but it appears it's not. Wait a second. Now I'm going to send it. I'm going to invite Denise Friedman. She wants to be invited. Okay, so I'm going to move on with my staff report. Welcome, everybody. We did have an update on the West Bonita Playground Comfort Station project. So the restroom has arrived. It was a prefab restroom that arrived from Texas. There needs to do some concrete work and some plumbing. And they're telling us it'll be ready to open the week of October 26th with a target date of an opening by November 3rd. So election day, we should have that project completed and ready open to the public. We still have a couple more walkthroughs to go for the West Bonita Playground project. The good news here, I need to share something here. The playgrounds have reopened as of last weekend. All the outdoor playgrounds in the City of San Diego Park section have opened, including Mission Bay. We actually had a press conference with the mayor on Friday afternoon, which was pretty well received. That was at the South Tech Lodi shores. That is with some signage, some requirements, as well as some capacities. So I'm sharing a screen now with what the playground signage looks like. The equipment is not being sanitized. It's use at your own risk. To avoid overcrowding, we allow everyone to use the space and limit your visits to 30 minutes. Stay home if you have a fever or any symptoms. Do not eat or drink in the playground areas. Wash your hands with soap and water before and after. Caregivers, we like to have children have 6 feet apart. So therefore we've put capacities on each playground. And of course, wear face coverings for anyone aged 2 and older. So these signs are posted around the playgrounds. We're actually ordering more signs. We put a few up today and we'll have some more as they come in the next few days. So I'm gonna go ahead and not share that. And as Carrie said, parking enforcement really has resumed. And I did notice a lot of citations on RVs on East Mission Bay Drive last Thursday. So it looks like parking enforcement and park rangers are making contacts in PD. So hopefully we can get a little handle on some of those long-term RV parkers out there on the Mission Bay roads. Mission Bay athletic field improvements. They're working hard on finalizing the design for that project over at the Mission Bay Youth Fields. And they're in final design details. They're talking about roofs on the restroom and the concessions area. And we should be hearing something about that for this group with that 90% design in the next month or so. So look for the Mission Bay athletic field improvements. Crown Point access. We have access improvements over in the Crown Point area. Has anybody frequented over there? There's some new walkways and other areas that are ready to open up with some new path and access routes. So Crown Point's there. Yeah, Fiesta Island. So that's continuing to be a mess. It's becoming quite the little dump. A lot of people are doing illegal dumps. Our staff and Shoreline Parks staff are every day are cleaning up mostly illegal dumps. So we definitely need to get a handle on that. I see Brandon's on here, so we'll work with PD and other agencies to try to curtail some of those illegal dumps out on Fiesta Island. We continue to permit houses of worship and fitness businesses in our parks. There's going to be an emergency ordinance going to council to waive the fees in the next couple weeks. So for Mission Bay Park, we've had our fair share. We've had some houses of worship to use the park, which we've permitted, and plenty of fitness businesses that are using the park. So you've probably seen them out there as well. That's all I have as a report. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions? Hearing none. Thank you for your report, Mike. And this, we have, moving on to the consent agenda, we have none. So moving on to the adoption agenda, item 201, request support for sand fencing projects at Ocean Beach Estuary, presented by Araceli Dominguez.
Okay, so I want to introduce this project. So today we're joined by a couple of our park rangers. Araceli Dominguez is here with Sonia. Sonia, are you online here? It looks like you are. And then we've got some guests from the Urban Corps as well. So Araceli, go ahead and take over and go ahead and take the screen and go ahead and share if you'd like.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay? The volume? Okay.
It's very good.
Okay. Sorry, this is my first Zoom meeting, so bear with me. Thank you.
How could this be your first Zoom meeting? So,
I've been in the field all day,
okay, good
all
for
the
you.
time.
Good for you.
Thank you. Let's see. Share. Okay. So I'm gonna turn off my video so I don't get distracted by myself. But can you guys hear me okay still?
Yes, very well.
Okay, so before I get started, I want to take this moment to thank the Mission Bay Park Committee for letting my team and I present what I believe is a very exciting yet long overdue project. My name is Araceli Dominguez. I'm a park ranger for the city of San Diego. And it is my pleasure to introduce Lauren Welch, development manager, and Steve Popper, construction manager, who both work for Urban Corps. I have been a city of San Diego ranger for 6 years, the last year and a half being at Shoreline. The first year learning all the laws and regulations from my new assignment as I came from open space, which is a lot less law enforcement. So yeah, the first year I was just learning all the new laws and regulations. And then my second year, I started trying to see ways that I can implement my degree in environmental science and resource management with an emphasis in marine and coastal systems to improve our shoreline and coastline. So the project that I'm introducing is called Ocean Beach Estuary Enhancement Project, also known as OBEEP. And this slide is an aerial view of Ocean Beach Estuary, which actually falls on the Mission Bay master plan. That was knowledge to me when I started researching for this project. I do want to state that this map does not indicate that these are the actual boundaries to these habitats. When I researched what historically was Dog Beach, and I think I can share with you guys here. I'm gonna try this, hopefully I don't lose you. let's see, is it gonna work? Yep, okay. In 1972, when Dog Beach was established, you can see that Dog Beach was actually just this section here. And I believe these were boats. I don't think they were cars. But yeah, Dog Beach just ran from the north jetty down to like where the lifeguard tower was. And that was 1972 when Dog Beach was established. And so what we see now, again, this is not indicating the actual border of Dog Beach. I had a hard time finding what were the perimeters of Dog Beach. This just indicates the different habitats that are in this area. Okay. So this is just a picture showing you what Dog Beach, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with. These are our beautiful coastal sand dunes. Let me know if I'm going too fast too. This is our coastal scrub community that the San Diego River Park Foundation has a right of entry permit, and they have had, before the pandemic, thousands and thousands of volunteers coming here, weeding, eradicating weeds, grass, invasive weeds all throughout the year, and also planting native shrubbery. This is a picture of the wetland. This is during high tide, actually. Somewhere back here, there's another slide that shows you how high the tide can get when the tides come in. So there you go. Back here is the trail or the pathway that people usually take to go around, up and over to the sand. And these are just some birds that I have seen throughout the wetland. They're either foraging, taking shelter, or just resting. This slide indicates where the current fence is. The fence that is currently there was installed, to my knowledge, prior to 1990, which is over 30 years ago. There's some redundancy. There's about 4 entrances from the bike path, technically 5 if you include this little small area here. There's this long drag here, a big wide open space there, and then these 3 fingers that actually take you to the beach. And as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of social paths that have been made by the public. Here's one, here's another one, really close to one that's already been established by the city. Here's another one, there's a few more over here. And then there's ones over here as well. This current fence is pretty, I don't know, it needs like a facelift. It's not serving its purpose anymore. The fence was created to guide people and dogs through the sensitive habitat to go up and over the sand dunes and onto the beach. But as you can see, these posts, some have been broken. The rope is missing here. It doesn't extend all the way to the bike path as it should to protect the habitat or vegetation that's in here. One big issue, let me catch up to my notes, is dog feces. Every time I go out there, I see dogs, or indication that dogs have been behind the posts. Behind the fence, I should say, as you can see on the bottom right corner, behind the rope, there's dog feces. And recently, a San Diego River Park Foundation volunteered, collected and disposed of properly 259 piles of dog feces in 8 hours. I'll let that sink in for a little bit. Another issue that the fence is not upholding is transients are able to just go up and over the fence or go around the fence, and they leave all their belongings. They sleep on the vegetation. I probably have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 piles of abandoned property that I have collected and cleaned through the sand dunes and through the coastal shrubs. Here's just more pictures, you know, how close they get to Smiley Lagoon. It's very sensitive habitat. This spot is like a chronic area, like at least once a week there's someone there and I have to constantly just get them to move along, move along. And I also want to indicate that when they do this, they are also cutting vegetation. So it's not just them trampling on the vegetation, but they're actually making like teepees or using the stakes to hold up their tarps and whatnot. And sometimes they even use that to create their own little fires to keep warm at night. So a little bit past the fence on where it ends, there is a Southern Wildlife Preserve, and you'll see these signs that I'm not sure when they were installed, but as you can read, it says, approaching wildlife preserve, dogs need to be under your control. Please do not allow dogs to chase birds. Harassment of migratory bird is against the federal law. And to also include this, the San Diego Muni Code has a law called Mistreatment of Animals, and it's similar to the wildlife harassment law with state, meaning that if you disturb, interrupt, change the behavior of any wild animal, that is considered harassment. And ever since I came to Shoreline, I've noticed owners letting their dogs run loose in this area, and they think it's cute, they think it's funny. I get it, I'm a dog owner myself. I think it's cute, I want to see my dog have fun, but I also have a job to do as a park ranger, and that's to protect the wildlife that is there. This guy, for example, I was standing here by the sand dunes, and he let his labs just flush about, I would say 50 birds. And he was smiling and giggling, thinking it was a good time. And I told him, sir, you know, this is actually a very sensitive habitat. It's against the law to be flushing or changing the behavior of wildlife. Can you please control your dogs? And it wasn't only until then that he turned around and tried getting his dogs under control, which did not happen. He had to walk back to where they were over here and put them on a leash. So I kind of want to give you a perspective with this slide. I want to see how many birds you can count in here. I'll give you like a few seconds. So, time's up.
54.
I'm sorry?
54.
54, okay. That's a good estimate. There's actually a little bit under 100 birds in this area. You might see the ones here along the water. There's some killdeer here. There was actually a lot more birds within this area and here, throughout here. And that's just birds. That's not even considering if there was eggs. So if you can imagine, if dogs are let loose, letting them chase these birds, at least these birds can run away. But if there's eggs here, they're trampling on eggs, limiting the survival of these birds procreating and using this habitat as a sanctuary. Not all birds are like this plump. They're smaller, like the snowy plover, who's actually endangered federally. And there's even smaller birds.
Araceli, this is Mike. So let's go ahead and move. We have a good agenda. So let's move through it and see what we're asking for here.
Okay. So what I'm proposing is to install a new fence that will reduce the redundancy of paths to this alignment here. It's extend the fence actually throughout here, and there's actually already a path that will allow people to come here to the sand. If needed be, they can still have access to this section here. And we looked at several types of fencing, and sand fencing was the most eco-friendly, financially friendly, cheapest, material, also very popular in the coastal areas because of its aesthetics. It goes well with tide surges and winter storms. It allows wildlife to still go through the sand, the fence, as you can see, maybe this one. Oh, yeah. You can see here that there's still some gaps in between that wildlife can go through. So we're not gonna be really eliminating their method of going through in and out the habitats. So I am proposing this sand fence to be installed in, as you saw the map earlier, and I have Lauren with me and Steve, who will talk more about funding for this project.
And Mike, I'll do that quick. So Urban Corps, if you're unaware, is a local certified conservation corps. There's 14 in the state of California. Urban Corps serves this county of San Diego. For this grant project, we're discussing, well, real quick, Urban Corps does two things. It's a high school education for low-income 18 to 26-year-olds, as well as paid on-the-job training. So this would be, if funded, a program that our construction team would lead. And what we're looking at is an application through Wildlife Conservation Corps, WCB, has a Pacific Flyway grant that should be out any day. And we've already kind of prepared an application and a plan. Like I said a second ago, our Class B licensed contractor, Steve, who's also on the call today, would be in charge of the crew, and the crew would be 18 to 26-year-olds in our construction program. That would be completing the project. Mike, I was trying to do it super fast. I'm sure there'll be time for questions if need be.
Thank you so much. You've made a great case for this new fence. So do we have any questions from any of our board members?
Yeah, Paul, before you go to questions, I do have 9 public comments, which I'll skim through really quick if you want to give me a chance to do that.
I'd like the questions first. Oh, no, let's go through the comments first. You're exactly right.
Okay, some of them are pretty long, so I'm going to paraphrase as much as I can, but this one's from Molly Morrison. I strongly support the Ocean Beach Estuary Enhancement Project. Wetlands are biologically remarkable habitats. They are capable of sequestering massive amounts of carbon, which proved to be vital as climate change continues. And there's a lot more there. Andrew Meyer. Hello, I support the improved management goals of item 201 for today's agenda. Tideland wetlands are incredibly vital habitats, and more than 60% of the habitat has already been lost in California. Mission Bay, including the river mouth and Formosa Slough, is one of the best tidal wetland restoration places in the city and all of Southern California. L. Barnes, I am supporting and approving the additional fencing and more signage in this crucial habitat area. Once again, wetlands are incredibly vital habitats. Muriel Spooner, I strongly support the proposed sand fence for the Ocean Beach Estuary Enhancement Project to protect the remaining tidelands, wetlands, which are vital habitats. I have Nigella Hillgrath. I support item 201 OBEEP. Better fencing and signage will go a long way to protect our wild birds in that area. Leslie Handa. I study water birds for the San Diego County. I fully support any wildlife management efforts the city of San Diego in the Smiley Lagoon and Dog Beach area. Management efforts are needed to protect the shorebirds, rails, ducks, and other terns and gulls. This is from Frank Landis. Conservation Chair, I support better protection of native plant species against trampling and other damage. OB Estuary, this is from Jim Pugh. The OB Estuary is very important wildlife habitat, especially to shorebirds and seabirds. Great recreational resource. I support item 201. And finally, Mariana VARANO. I support item 201. I am a San Diego native, resident OB, dog owner, frequent Dog Beach. And the San Diego estuary surrounding the dune habitats are precious habitats to sustain life for hundreds of native species. That's what I have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments by committee members?
Hey, Paul, I'd like just to make a comment.
Yes, please.
It's just somebody that goes to Dog Beach probably about 3 times a week. I see homeless people, dogs running back there all the time. I would never take my dog even down those paths. So I would definitely support this project. I guess the one caveat is be nice to me to go into the planning board in Ocean Beach just to let them know what's going on as well. And with that said, I would be willing to make a motion to support this project.
Please do.
Okay. I do. I make a motion to support this project.
Motion to support the staff recommendation.
Go ahead and state your name for the record, please.
This is Giovanni Angolia.
Second, this is Judith.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Judith?
Paul, one question I had real quick.
Yes.
I didn't catch the cost. I know they're trying to get a grant, but I didn't catch the cost of the fencing. And when can the project start? And when would it be finished?
Okay, I know they're still looking for funds. Araceli, go ahead and answer that one.
So to my knowledge, and Lauren can jump in here, but we estimate the project to cost anywhere around $120,000. And we're asking the Western Conservation Board Pacific Flyway to grant us that money with their grant. And depending on times and whatnot, you know, we have the bird surveys to do. It's birds nesting season, March through September. So we have to calculate all that. And if approved, I'm happy to come back at a later time when we have a better timeline set for you guys.
And that 120 would be labor and materials, just as a, so that the total cost of the material to purchase and the labor to put it in.
Perfect, thank you.
This is Judith. I just had a comment, and that was to Araceli and Lauren. It's a thank you for the presentation. I found it very, very interesting, and I think this is a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
This is Stephanie, and I have a question. I think it's a great project. I'm really excited about it. Have you guys already obtained your permits, or is that something that's going to be coming?
I applied for the CEQA permit through the city already, so they're looking at that. And then I'm in the process of applying for the California development permit. I've been in contact with them, and they said they should be able to let me know by the end of this year whether or not it'll be exempt as well, which I am hoping to, because the project is less than 5 acres and we are just improving what's already there. So it's not like we're installing new fencing. We're just having a facelift maintenance.
Okay, so just to be clear, what you're asking for are recommended approval to continue to go down the path of doing your environmental review and to obtain permits. You're not asking for our approval at this point.
No, I am. For one of the requirements for the grant is that all the community groups, councils are on board and approve of this project.
So maybe we need to amend our motion that we approve it subject to subsequent environmental review, because we can't take action until you've done your environmental review. Does that make sense?
I don't think there's going to be an environmental review. It's just permits at this time.
So they're administrative then? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, Stephanie, so the motion is to support the concept. I think that's all they need at this point. If Giovanni, who made the motion, wants to add any comments to it, he can add that. It would have to be reseconded.
I'm fine with supporting the comments, and I'd like to see them come back and show us the final product. But if it's just administrative support the product, I'm just fine with my current motion.
So your motion is to support the concept pending final, how do you want to say that?
Support the concept pending, I guess, final design or review.
Lauren, go ahead and help me with this one.
So,
Lauren, what is it you're looking for with Urban Core?
Well, that would really be Araceli.
Okay.
So again, this is new to me too, so I'm trying to understand the linguistics of things. The grant that we are applying for just needs everyone to be on board and accept the project. The project will not move forward if we can't get permits. So if you guys say no or don't approve of the project, then there's no point of me applying for or moving forward with the permits. So I need to get everyone on board so then I could proceed to the next step.
Well, we as an advisory group should be supporting the concept exactly of seeking the grant and seeking the administrative permit. So that's really what we're doing here tonight.
Yes.
That's where I want my motion, is just to support, is to support the concept.
Support the concept,
Okay,
exactly.
I've got that, and I've got Jeff as, oh no, Judith as a second. So there's a motion on the floor.
Well, I just want to say one thing. It's not really the concept. I mean, aren't we really supporting the project?
Well, we are, but they don't get the grant until people like us support it. So I think we support the project. Exactly. We support the project so they can seek the grant and the administrative permits.
So I'm sorry to be like technical on this, but it seems to me that it's the project that it's the proposed project we're supporting, not sort of a concept of a project.
This is Stephanie, and the reason that I raised a concern of it is because if they haven't done environmental review under CEQA, you can't approve a project until you've done that. So if we're approving the project as planned and they haven't done the environmental review, then there's a potential legal concern. So I just wanted to be clear, and it sounds like what we're doing is supporting the concept, and I think that's great. And I think the concept is wonderful, and I'm really excited about this project. So I think that's a good motion, and I support that.
Yeah, because we're not an approving body. We don't.
No, we're not. We're required to give them our recommendation of approval.
Exactly, not our approval.
That's what we want, a recommendation of approval.
So Giovanni, would you like to restate your motion, please, for the record?
Yes, I would like to support the concept of the project as presented.
Judith?
Sure.
I will, Judith, are you going to second it, Judith?
Yes, I'll second it.
I just have a question though. Will, by us approving the concept, Araceli, will that allow you to move forward in getting your grant?
Yes. So I just need to make sure that you guys are aware of this project that we're working on. And as long as everyone is on board for me to move forward, then I continue with the permits and whatnot. And I also was told that maybe, so the permit, like for the California, I'm sorry to drag this, but the California Coastal Commission development permit is actually an application. They review it. If they don't see anything wrong with it, then they just, it's exempted for me to have a permit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then at the end, I really don't need a permit if that's what they agree to. It's more of an application process.
Okay, Paul, I do have a motion and a second.
Second, so please call the roll.
Ron Anderson?
Approve.
Giovanni?
Approve.
Jeff Johnson?
Approve.
Judith Munoz? Oh wait, Jeff, did you abstain?
No, I approved.
Approve, okay. Judith?
Approve.
David Potter?
Approve.
Paul Robinson?
Approve.
Stephanie Smith?
Approve.
Got it. Darlene Walter?
Approved.
Thank you.
Got an 8.
And good luck. This is really needed, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
8-0. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Let's move to item 202, request support for the adjustment hours for leash dogs to access in Mission Bay Park, presented by Brian White, President of the Pacific Beach Town Council.
Okay, Brian, the floor is yours. Do you want to share anything, or I could share screen?
Yeah, I have just a quick 4 slides to share. I just want to thank Chairman Robinson and the committee for allowing this item to be on the agenda for consideration. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'll just share screen real quick. Get this up there. Okay, so this was a proposal that our Pacific Beach Town Council Board of Directors unanimously voted to support. Basically, the hours, as you all are well aware, I'm sure, there's a sign there that is posted at Crown Point Park, which demonstrates the current hours that dogs are not allowed in Mission Bay Park. And that's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. from November 1st to March 31st, and from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on between April 1st and October 31st. So it's, as you well know, it's split into halves of the year. Our proposal was to give a little breathing room on the front and back end for dog owners, making it instead of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. From November 1st to March 31st, and instead of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., April 1st to October 31st. In looking at the agenda, when the agenda was supposed to be noticed that the staff recommendation is, and I'll let Mike, you'll of course get more into that. I don't want to speak for him, but this was on the agenda saying staff recommendation of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. year round. Well, when we saw that notion, that idea of a year round time, that we thought that there's advantages to that with consistency and simplicity for understanding. And with that, we kind of split the difference between what we were asking for is instead of like a 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. year round for that consistency and simplicity. And basically, the reason being, the slight adjustment would give dog owners a little more time in the mornings and evenings while still keeping the main thrust of these rules in place. And I'll go ahead and stop sharing there. Stop share. Okay. So just as a quick example, right now on October 6th, we are within that half of the year that where dogs are not allowed from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The sunset tonight, I looked it up, was 6:25. And as I'm looking out my window, I can see that it's fully dark outside. So really, it gives the current rules, if you were to go out today as a dog owner, you would have 25 minutes between the time when dogs are not allowed and when sunset is. And so anyway, that's basically the thrust of what we're asking for. And again, want to thank the committee for considering this.
Thank you. Mike, you have a number of public comments, right?
Yeah, I'd just like to read the staff recommendation, and then I do have some public comments, and I believe we have Carolyn Estrada. Carolyn, are you able to unmute and talk? I know you're working remote this evening. While she's doing that, the staff recommendation is to support adjusting the times that dogs are not permitted at Mission Bay Park, and read dogs are not allowed between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. year-round for consistency, and allow dog owners to utilize more of the evening hours during the summer months. Keeping in mind, there is no budget to change the hundreds of signs that we have. This is only Mission Bay Park we're talking about now, not the shoreline parks that Brian's going to need to work on some more about that. We have to go to some other groups for shoreline parks, Brian. But tonight's meeting is just Mission Bay Park. Carolyn, do you want to give any input on the dogs and some of the incidences? Just the dogs in the crowds. I believe the municipal code, which I can post here, was developed many years ago. I'll let Carolyn talk about that now that she's unmuted.
It's been about 30 years since we've had this code in place, at least. And the reason that it was really put into place is because of the fact that we look at the most populated time that we have in the park, and we want to make sure that, we don't have dogs running around everywhere. So I would, I'm going with the recommendation that we put in for the 9 to 4 because I feel like that is the most, I think the time frame that we don't have as, we have the most people in the park. And it's been an ongoing issue where we've had dogs everywhere and people are trying to picnic. So I think that's kind of about it. Sorry.
So
I'm trying to.
The advisory, as an advisory group, this would take more action to park board and eventually city council to amend the municipal code. So tonight's meeting is just addressing Mission Bay Park. Brian made his presentation. The staff recommendation is a little different. It's year-round is good for consistency, and Carolyn agrees with that because there's a lot of confusion year-round. Staff's looking at a 9 to 4, and Brian, you're looking for a 10 to 4. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mike, are you ready for a motion? Mike?
Yeah, hold on. So before we do a motion, Paul, we could do either public comment, and I can skim through that because there's a lot of it, or you can have the board talk. How would you like to go, Paul?
Let's go to public comment first. Thank you.
Okay.
Mike.
So public comment, this is obviously a hot topic, Brian, and you've shared this with a lot of your community residents. So I was flooded with web format. So before the meeting, I was still receiving them. I received 115 public comments on this item. I have 93 that support the Pacific Beach Town Council's recommendation. And I'll read one of those to try to give you an idea of what the support is. I'm not going to read the other 92, if that's okay with you, Paul, but I'll go ahead and get
That's
Okay.
much.
All right.
Mike and I spent a little bit of time on this, so we're not going to go through 93 public comments.
Okay, so of the 115, 93 support, 9 of them oppose it, and then 13 of them only referred to the beaches, and they want to expand the dog hours at the beach and boardwalk only, or that's how at least the comment meant. So this one is from Susan Crowers. She was one of the first to submit. And I strongly encourage the Mission Bay Park Committee to adjust the hours that dogs are not allowed in Mission Bay Park to a year round of 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So many of Pacific Beach residents are passionate about their dogs and are in the need of more outdoor options for a healthy, safe exercise lifestyle with their canine companions. The current hours are unnecessarily restrictive and for the leash dogs. Changing the hours from the winter to summer is also confusing. As a Pacific Beach native and Crown Point resident, I know the Mission Bay parks in the morning are especially light. An additional hour of dog walking would be greatly appreciated. The current restrictions late afternoon make it difficult for owners to have sufficient time to walk their dogs. I support PB Town Council's proposal to change from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. year round. So there's a lot like that. And I'll read an example of one of the objections. I'm writing to express objection to the proposal of increasing hours where dogs are permitted around Mission Bay. Although many dogs and their owners are good and orderly, a large portion present a nuisance and refuse to abide by the leash laws. As a result, the dogs are barking in the early morning hours and owners fail to clean up after their pets. As such, we hope that more enforcement rather than widening the hours where dogs are permitted on our beaches and bays. And then there's 13 of them want to expand the hours on the bays, on the beaches and the boardwalks. So I'm not going to read those. So basically overwhelming support of the Pacific Beach Town Council change in hours for a year-round consistency.
Do we have any questions or comments from the committee?
Yes, this is Judith. I have a comment. Since the rules were made 35 years ago, there's been a tremendous change in our culture and how we view pets and dogs particularly, and the human animal bond is recognized as being so important. So I would, if it's okay at this point, I would move that we accept the Pacific Beach Town Council's proposal of limiting dog hours from 10 to 4 year round.
I'll second that. This is Stephanie.
The motion and the second. Okay.
Yeah, you know, before we go to the motion, I have a couple questions, and I don't know if Carolyn Estrada, you may be able to answer them, or I don't know if Rick is still here or not. But how does that affect specifically Santa Clara Point in the summertime? I know that area gets a lot of high usage from the junior lifeguards, as well as a lot of camps that are going on there, the Mission Bay Aquatic Center, as far as some other places. Does a municipal code have anything in effect when you have children using the grass areas when there could be, unfortunately, unleashed dogs running through the area by operators that aren't obeying the laws?
So yeah, I mean, we still would see dogs out in those areas. Now, Santa Clara is a little bit different. It does have a different amendment to the Muni Code that states that there are no dogs allowed between 9 and 6. So there is a little bit of a difference just at that park specifically.
Okay, so what we're looking at then does not affect Santa Clara Point. It's for the rest of the bay, correct?
So I'm gonna let Brian present, because Brian, your initial concept was beaches and bay. We're narrowing it down to Mission Bay only. How would you like? And I did share the screen. So as Carolyn said, there's different Muni codes for different areas of Mission Bay. How would you like to present that? I mean, there is a motion out there already. So Brian, any comment?
Well, you know, I think we're open to any nuances that might help, you know, for different circumstances, different areas. So I was unaware that Santa Clara Point actually had its own stipulation in the Muni Code. So I think it's really up to the motion maker, but thank you for coming to me for comment.
The other thing that I want to say is the complaints about dog owners that aren't responsible dog owners and dogs run. I think that's a different issue, that dogs are run loose, than the hours. And I think the hours in which responsible dog owners can take their dogs out for a walk is different from, if we could be able to enforce the dogs that are off leash and dog owners that aren't following the rules. So I see it as a different issue. I can understand why people are very upset about having dogs off leash.
Okay. So
Well,
this is.
I really like the fact that you're simplifying it. I mean, it's real easy to tell people that come into San Diego, hey, it's 10 to 4. However, I just see Santa Clara should almost stay as it is and, be under their own sort of watch, because there's just so many other people and children there in the summertime, So I don't know if we can amend it to eliminate Santa Clara or keep Santa Clara on its own path. Based on what I hear from the lifeguards and Carolyn, that may be the best alternative. But I really like the fact that we're just going to a simplified system, ignore the cost of the signage. That will come in time. But I really like the fact that it's just going to be, 10 to 4, whatever it may be.
I got a question, either Mike or Carolyn, if you can address it. And regarding the staff recommendation, what was the reasoning behind looking at 10 a.m. as opposed to 9? Was there anything behind that specifically?
Right. So Carolyn can speak on it too, but as everybody knows, Mission Bay Park hosts a lot of special events, and a lot of those walks and runs start early in the morning, and then they're usually done. What time, Carolyn? Like 9 or 10 o'clock. So a lot of the
Usually about 9:10.
9 or 10, yeah. So I do receive a lot of incident reports about dogs, and we document all that. So Carolyn, do you want to answer that question? What do you think? Why our 9 o'clock versus our 10 o'clock?
So I think the reason that we wanted to keep the 9 o'clock, one of the main reasons is because everybody is always confused about the time frames, and keeping it consistent as much as possible would be a benefit to everybody. Also, looking at the fact that we have so many more people coming out that early. I mean, there's time frames during the summertime that it is extremely busy and already at capacity in some of the parking lots by 9 a.m. So again, the whole reason for the law was because we looked at the most populated time. So keeping it at 9 o'clock is beneficial for both of those reasons.
And I want to add, we do have Fiesta Island. You can have dogs off leash anytime the island's open, actually anytime, because there's no curfew there. The gates just close at 10 p.m. So Fiesta Island is available for dogs up to 6, I believe. And then we've got Dog Beach, which we were kind of talking about earlier. And then Cape Park over in PB, those are off-leash dog areas as well. So the staff recommendation still stands at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., but the motion is a 10 to 4 year round.
Judith, would you be
Can I
willing?
just add? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Judith, would you be willing to amend to take the staff recommendation as opposed to the 10 o'clock?
Well, I like the 10 o'clock. No one has seconded the motion. So if no one seconds it, someone else can just make a different motion.
Actually, I think it was seconded by
Oh,
Stephanie.
was it? Okay.
Yeah, Stephanie did second the 9 to 4 year round.
Hey, I just
10 to 4.
This is Giovanni. I just have a quick question. Does this also include Dusty Roads and Rob Field South?
No, this is just the Mission Bay Park where the current signage is. That's something we have to get technical on, because in our fund area, those areas are included in that. But as far as my management, it's Mission Bay Park. It doesn't include Dusty Roads or Rob Field,
Even though they're part
or
of
the Mission Bay Youth Fields, but it does include Santa Clara.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussion?
I'll reread the motion. The motion was made by Judith, and that's to support Pacific Beach Town Council's ban times for dogs from 10 to 4 daily. So no dogs, Mission Bay Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's altering the current municipal code, and it's seconded by Stephanie Smith.
Any further comment?
Yeah, are we also going to vote then on your motion based on the parks recommendation? Are we going to be voting on 2 different things here?
No,
There's one motion on the floor.
that's right. One motion. That's Judith and Stephanie's motion, 10-4, ban year round.
I'd really like to see some consideration given to Carolyn's boots on the ground experience when it comes to the special events in Mission Bay Park. As someone who has to deal with a lot of special events and the public safety aspects to those events, dogs can be an issue worth considering.
Does the difference between 9 and 10 make a difference for the special events? I wasn't clear on how that would impact it.
I'll go ahead and let Carolyn, she is the boots on the ground there. Carolyn?
So yes, it would impact it, especially with the fact that a lot of our special events do happen in between 7 and 9 to 10 a.m. And so having that time frame, not having dogs would be beneficial, because some of the walks and runs could last up until 10 o'clock, maybe even 11, some of them in at 9, it just depends.
So are you saying that it's difficult to clear the event? Because dogs would be allowed either way up until 9. The question is whether they're allowed up until 10, right? So are you saying it's difficult to clear the event if dogs are there?
It is. It's very difficult because, you know, most people, they want to stick around as much as they think they're going to come do the walk run or whatever event they're going to be doing, and they're going to leave at 9 o'clock. They're not paying attention to the time. They want to enjoy the event. They want to go and do all the other festivities of the event. And then now they've got their dog there and it's later into the afternoon. Some of them can even go into 12 o'clock, depending on if it's one of the bigger walks and runs where it takes them longer to do the walk and run. A 5K, you know, that's probably till 9 o'clock. But when you're looking at 10Ks, which we do a lot of, and half marathons and things like that, those are up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So then now they have their dog. So yes, it's difficult.
Okay, Paul, that's all you.
Okay, so why don't you call the roll, Mike?
Okay, so there's a motion to approve Brian White's proposal supported by the Pacific Beach Town Council to amend the dog rules or laws in Mission Bay Park, prohibiting dogs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. year round. Motion made by Judith and seconded by Stephanie. I'd like to take vote. Looks like, where's my roster? Ron Anderson.
Abstain.
Giovanni.
I'll move to approve.
Jeff Johnson.
Disapprove. I'm a fan of the 4, but I'd like to see it 9.
Judith Munoz.
Approve.
David Potter.
Approve.
Paul Robinson.
Approve.
Stephanie Smith.
Approve.
Darlene Walter.
Approve.
So the motion carries 6-1 with 1 abstention. And the abstention was that you, Ron?
Yes.
Okay, the motion did carry. All right, you're all set, Brian. So we will be in touch with your next move on this one. And if you want to deal with the beaches, we'll talk more about the beaches and the shoreline parks, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we have a workshop item 401, Illegal Activities and Community Concerns Task Force report.
Okay, so I left this item on the agenda, and we do have Officer Brandon here. I'd like to introduce Brandon, and he can give his staff report, and we'll talk a little bit about the workshop that we have with Carolyn and some of us that were part of this workshop to curtail some of the illegal activities along the shorelines. So Brandon, your report, and then if you want to talk about any enforcement of some of the complaints we've been getting. All yours.
Hello, everybody. So over the weekend, we had some issues over at Sail Bay where we responded out there for large parties, which we've had some complaints about. So our officers went out there multiple times and shut down some big parties. The other thing is we responded, or we've made 103 contacts for illegal fires in the last couple weeks in the Mission Bay, Mission Beach areas. So we're really stepping up our enforcement there. Really, everything's kind of starting to slow down a little bit. I'm hoping the fires are starting to slow down. Is there any questions for me from anybody?
Okay, I noticed that Denise Friedman just joined us. Denise, you were on our little workshop committee, and that's what we're talking about. We've got Brandon on here, where PD has stepped up the enforcement. What have you seen out there, Denise, in the Crown Point, real quick, before we adjourn? Able to unmute. I know you're able to join us. Anybody else? Christina, you're on there. Have we stepped up any, for our workshop item, any web information? I know, Carolyn, you worked on some signage and some parking lot closures. Anybody on the committee have anything to add on this workshop item?
Yeah, this is Christina Chadwick. I do want to just reiterate and thank staff, particularly Carolyn and some of our communications department employees who've worked hard to increase the visibility of communication tools, specifically Nextdoor. A PSA is in the works of being filmed, as well as other social media outlets that we've been utilizing to push information out to communities about fire pit safety and various other rules and guidelines for our shoreline park. So we have had some information being pushed out there since that workshop happened, and we'll be continuing to monitor and push things out as we see necessary. So I think so far I've seen that activity come through, even through my own personal Nextdoor channels, and we'll be continuing to monitor that moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I see.
I managed to unmute myself. Sorry about that.
Okay.
So things have been significantly better in the East Mission Bay side of things. And Brandon, thank you very, very much. And thank you for now focusing on the Sail Bay side that's been really bad. And thank you also for starting to shut down the fires that are all of them illegal after midnight, between midnight and 5 in the morning. And that in itself has cut down a lot of the partying activity at the beaches. I want to let you know that the work of this committee has been expanded now, and we're working, a new task force has been started, expanded from the original one, and looking at La Jolla, Ocean Beach, and the South Mission, North Mission, and North Pacific Beach, so we can expand the effort. So thank you to everybody.
Hey, Mike, last week I posted on Nextdoor the rules for the fire pits and the fires on the beach, and I got 133,000 impressions. I don't know what impressions are. I'm not real social media literate, but from what I was told, that's pretty substantial. So people are reading them and people are getting them. It went out to across the city. So I think that is also making an impact. I hope that social media will help us out on this problem.
Thank you all for the task force for all you're doing. We very much appreciate it. It was a good report that things are improving. Any other comments or questions from committee members?
I think we can move on. I'll remove that from future agenda, but we'll continue to update you. I just want to mention, Paul, on the proposal for the dogs. This will be run by the San Diego Humane Society as well, and the San Diego PD Northern Division, because this is news to them. So we haven't ran this by PD yet on the dogs. So they're going to have some input before it moves to the next level. So there'll be some staff recommendations from both PD and Humane Society. They're our vendor for animal control. Okay. So that's all I had on that, Brian. And Paul, I think if there's nothing else, any other comments from?
No, I think we're ready to adjourn the Mission Bay Park Committee and convene the Mission Bay Park Improvement Fund Oversight Committee at 7:09. So the first order of business is to approve the minutes of July 7th to 2020. Do we have any comments or amendments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Sure. Motion to approve.
Motion to
Second.
second to approve.
All right. I need names for the record. What was that again?
Jeff Johnson, motion to approve.
Gotcha. Second?
Giovanni Golia.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll
Call the roll. Please call the roll.
Ron Anderson.
Approve.
Giovanni.
Approve.
Jeff.
Approve.
Judith.
Approve.
David.
Approve.
Paul,
Approve.
Stephanie, were you present? Was everybody present in July? Yeah. Darlene?
Approve.
5, 6, 7, 8, 0, no abstentions. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Do we have any non-agenda public comments?
No, I do not.
Okay, we'll go. We have no consent agenda, so let's go to the adoption agenda. Item 201, proposed modifications to fiscal year 2021 capital improvements program budget.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce this, and I'm gonna share it. So Christina Chadwick's gonna bring this one forward. I'll go ahead and share. This is the which item is this?
Item 201.
Yes. So let me see. This is the adoption of the budget, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me try to share this real quick. Just a second. Proposed budget, there it is. Okay, so it's up there. Christina, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. So tonight, the Park and Rec Department is seeking approval for the recommended modifications and reallocation of available budget outlined in the report prepared by staff, which is on the screen in front of you. COVID-19 has had severe impacts on the city's budget, including revenue received from Mission Bay leaseholds. The Mission Bay Park Improvement Fund will receive just $2,379,000 from lease revenue generated in Mission Bay Park for various capital improvement projects in fiscal year 2021. This is compared to roughly $7,900,000 that was previously anticipated to come in. The city has an active cash management policy which allows staff to consistently monitor and plan for situations and changing circumstances of this kind. As such, staff tonight is requesting approval to move available monies from projects that are not currently ready to begin their next phase, specifically planning, design, or construction, and then reallocating this money to projects that are in fact ready to move forward. So we appreciate your consideration tonight for these modifications and reallocations, and we are available to take any questions that you have.
Well, that's quite a reduction from 7.9 to 2.3.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but that's what's happening all over. So it's a part of life right now.
Absolutely.
So let's, as much as we hate to do it, it's the reality of life. So I will entertain a motion to approve this budget.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jeff first, and who is the second?
Dave.
Who was that? Who was that? I'm sorry, who was the second?
Dave.
All right, David.
Potter. Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is to approve the proposed budget. I will read roll. Ron Anderson.
Approve.
Giovanni.
Approve.
Jeff.
Approve.
Judith.
Approve.
David.
Approve.
Paul.
Approve.
Stephanie.
Approve.
Darlene. Darlene Walter, are you still present? Okay, not hearing from Darlene. 1, 2, 3.
Sorry. Approve.
Do you approve the motion? Do you approve the motion for item 201?
Yes, approved.
So that passes 8-0. Thank you very much. Moving on.
Thank you so much. Item 202, reallocation of Mission Bay Park improvement funds to various projects.
Oh, sure. Let
Thank
me
you,
share
Jim.
this one. And then Christina is going to go ahead and take this one as well. Thank you, Christina. I'll go ahead and share it.
What is it?
And
Okay,
then-
absolutely.
this is
So this one is very similar to the previous item that you considered and approved. Same thing here. This would allow for the reallocation and modification of various budgetary projects. Again, we have taken in $2,379,000 in lease revenue for various projects on Mission Bay, compared to the $7.9 million that we previously anticipated. The chart in front of you in your staff report will outline what the changes are. And as you'll note, many of them have no impact to the project specifically. So it will outline for you the project, the funding change, and the impact. So tonight we're asking for your your approval in order to move forward with this new allocation that would allow for various projects that are ready for the next phase, whether that's planning, design, or construction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christina.
So moved.
Who was that? Was that Judith?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Judith.
Second.
Second by Dave Potter.
Yes.
Okay, moved in second. Any further comment or questions? Hearing none, Mike, please call the roll.
Ron,
Approve.
Giovanni,
Approve.
Jeff,
Approve.
Judith,
Approve.
David,
Approve.
Paul,
Approve.
Stephanie,
Approve.
and Darlene.
Approved.
Motion carries 8-0, no abstentions.
Thank you so much for a relatively long meeting for us tonight. So I appreciate all of the great work by staff and all of the committee members. Thank you so much. Any other comments?
Yeah, Paul.
Yes.
Okay, question for Mike. It was really from the last meeting, but I didn't get a chance to get it in. Mike, does the enforcement of the dog rules, is that done by the park rangers or is that done by the Humane Society, who has a contract for animal control? Who does it?
Carolyn's still online. I'll let her. Park rangers do have citation capabilities as well as PD and Humane Society. So Carolyn, go ahead and share how dog rules are enforced.
So it is going to be all the park rangers, the lifeguards, the police department, and also animal control.
So, but
Humane Society is actually our vendor now, right?
Yes, sorry.
Yes, but the Humane Society is animal control. They don't patrol, do they? They just go when there are complaints, or how does it work?
No, they do patrol. They're very minimal. I think there's only about 5 within the county area that includes us, and it's very minimal. So we see them once in a great while, but not very often.
Okay, thank you.
So Carolyn, while we have you on there, we make a lot of dog contacts. I know we do. How many citations are we giving, Carolyn, after multiple warnings?
After a multiple warning, it's either 1 or 2 warnings, and then we'll give a ticket. Sometimes it's just a ticket right off the bat. It depends on the situation.
So I know we gave a couple this week, but is it rare or how common are dog tickets?
They're common.
Common, yeah. So there you go. All right, so I do want to report the Padres is 0-0. What inning is it?
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You've been watching the Padres game? Thank you,
Actually,
Mike.
Johnny's got it over there. So I'm good to go. Nothing else to report from me, Paul.
Okay, thank you. I thank you for all of your great work. We are adjourned at 7:18.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, we'll get this uploaded on YouTube Live. Thank you very much.
Here.
Thank you all. Good night. Go Padres.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen.